Love seeing those awesome aerial shots. Shanghai, beautiful city. So many buildings, tall buildings, skyscrapers, weird-looking towers, but very cool.
Alex,
all around. Super Brand Mall. I think that's where we are right now.
Are you playing the Shanghai shots?
Yeah,
dude.
It's really cool. Very cool city. I encourage anyone to come check it out, and especially at night, like the light shows around the city are just nuts.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Agree.
They love their lights. But welcome back to the 2019 Auto Chess Invitational. I'm Axel Toss, joined by Cameron Davis and Excoundrel. Gentlemen, we've seen two of these groups unfold so far. We've had some dramatics. We've had some surprises. We've had some South Korean dominance. Both South Korean players so far in each group getting #1 by pretty decent margin, too, winning with 21 and 22 points, respectively. But, guys, initial results, or initial reactions, I should say, halfway through the day.
I mean, even if we're in Shanghai, even if there are 9 players from China in this event, this is an esports event in Korea. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, no matter what game it is, everyone's always like, oh, but they're not going to be good at FPS. Well, then they are. Like, oh, well, surely auto battlers, this is going to be different. And then first seed both times.
The cynic in me says that I don't want to read too much into results-based analysis right now. It is auto chess at the end of the day. There is a lot of variance, a lot of RNG, but there is something there that you've got 2 Korean first seeds on similar amount of points. I think they just made good build decisions both games. I think they are just playing some of the strongest comps in the meta right now. I think in general they just have a good read on what you should be doing. I think the people that are trying to force Dragon Mages have a bad read on this current meta.
Yeah.
Not that I blame them, because that was my read on the current meta. You know, like it is what it is, right? But I think very quickly, if you are into now Group C and Group D, there's no excuse now. You've got a good idea. If you get thrown 6 mages, you take it. But otherwise, I think there are other ways you should be thinking about going.
Yeah, well, I think we are moments away from introducing our next 8 players. We'll be walking on the stage. Our wonderful Chinese host is on stage right now. And we have ridiculous light shows also going on behind us, so I hope you guys are appreciating that too. Just really cool production here. Again, we have 3 simultaneous broadcasts going on. This is the English broadcast, we have a Chinese broadcast, and we have a Russian broadcast. So we're gonna stand by here, and I think we're about to introduce our next 8 players who will be playing in the next group, starting with Psycho.
Yeah, from Germany, actually. Qualified from the EU region, of course.
Yeah, he's also a professional Hearthstone player. Current Hearthstone Grandmaster.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of competitive experience behind him.
And here we have Steelo from the dominating South Korean region.
Yeah. I mean, if history's going to repeat itself, this guy's the winner of the group. Let's just all go home. We're good. Pack it up. Is that a little too...
No,
am I reading too much into it?
I think...
You could be right. You could be right.
Results-based analysis.
Do I need to say that I am exaggerating?
There's one South Korean player in every group here. There's Archdevil there from China.
Yep.
Archdevil.
What is Arc or Arch?
Yeah. I think it could be either.
I'm never confident when I say either way. Durf here from Bolivia, I believe qualifying from the Latin American group, qualifying off of a best of 1.
Yes.
Wow.
That's
pretty serious.
It was a wild ride to qualify from the Latin America qualifiers. However, he is the only South American / Latin American representative we have in this entire tournament in terms of where they're, which country they are sort of representing at this tournament.
That's quite a trip. That's pretty far away from Shanghai. So I wonder if he's a little jet lag. We'll have to see how he adjusts. But those are our first 4 players in this Group C here. Our next 4 starting with Lucky from China. Kind of a good namesake in this game, perhaps.
You would hope.
Yeah. You would hope. You would hope. Actually, that's good. That's good. It's a nice hedging your bets, I guess.
Is that our female player?
That is our female player.
Yeah, that's actually we had one. That's Lucky. She was the only female player to qualify, so really cool to see that. Here's Vincent from the United States.
Vince. Really happy, cheerful guy. I actually spent a little bit of time with him yesterday, but I also heard that this morning he was not the most confident coming into this event. Hopefully, watching the first 2 groups is a little better now.
Vincent is a glass half empty kind of chap when it comes to this kind of thing.
All right.
He doesn't want to set his expectations too high, just in case in auto chess way they are dashed. But Vincent is an incredibly good player, and if I expect another US guy to get out, it would be Vincent.
So the guy there's Philip right now coming in from Chinese Hong Kong, but previously we just saw GG Era, I believe is how you pronounce it, from Vietnam. That, if I am understanding correctly, is the only region to have an offline qualification process. So in a way,
Pretty cool.
that may give him an experience buff over everyone else being in a similar venue. Maybe not with all the same lights and smoke, but it's still different from qualifying from the comfort of your bedroom, of your home.
Yeah, for sure.
And still seeing a lot of, obviously, diversity in the regions. It's kind of how it works. We have 9 regions represented here, 32 different players. Obviously, are going to be dispersed relatively evenly across all the groups. Believe there's only one, there's only one American representative here in this group. There were 2 American representatives in our first group. But I think it's just one all the way through. I think South Korea has 1 player in each group.
Group, yeah.
And China, I think, with the most representation being kind of the home field here. So
It's also the largest server, so they generally command the most amount of players out of any of the servers.
Yeah, and let's actually take a look at the groups here, just so everyone can get a sense of all 32 players who are involved in this tournament. Of course, -8. 4 eliminated from Group A, 4 eliminated from Group B so far. Lucky there in Group C, our lone female player involved, making it through the qualifiers. So I'm sure a lot of people rooting her on. And there you see Group D yet to come. Oh, it looks like we have a Brazilian representative there.
I thought it was I think there must be more South American representation.
Hey, but I think that's just 2.
Yeah, Brazil is like its own region. Latin America is. Those are 2 separate regions, both with a single representative from those regions.
Looking forward to seeing Nudge play as well. He's a really good player, very active streamer. Comes from the European region. He was the first seed coming out of the GLL qualifiers. So.
Yeah, so definitely eyes are on him, but it was a tight first seed from him. I think Disown got second place off of 1 point, but also Europe so far, I don't know how much of a sample size we have.
2 Europeans have not qualified. So Max was technically a European qualified, didn't make it through, and Disown didn't make it through in the first one.
So that's, so far, the European region is actually not really performing too hot.
No,
but
we'll see.
you like Seiko. You're a fan of Seiko.
I think Seiko has got a good shot. I think Nudge and Seiko have got good shots at getting out of their groups. Nudge especially, and I think this is just from a personal standpoint, I think Group D is probably the weakest group in terms of kind of, I guess, caliber of player. So I think that the Nudge maybe has one of the better shots at getting out. But I think Seiko is a gifted player. He's a professional Hearthstone player, so he knows all about RNG. So he's probably very good at managing that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's an element you have to manage. Absolutely. And I love, obviously, you're seeing a lot of different strategies here today. We've personally all reacted differently to all of them, and so have these players. And Cameron, I wanted to ask you, too. I know you were backstage helping out observing in that last group, but what are your kind of reactions there from what we saw? Such a close group. I loved how competitive our last group was, but what are your kind of reactions to that, especially going into this next group?
Like, I was not surprised to see the sort of weird, chaotic footsie game of these, what we considered the Tier 1 comps of the Dragon Mage and the Glacial Knights in Group A, but then in Group B, from my reading at that, like, I don't think you can say it was like a footsie situation where it's like, oh, like trying to stay away from what you think is popular, but then everyone does the same thing and stuff. I really think it is just the Western read on the meta is not the same read on the meta as the Eastern regions have. I think the Eastern regions have shown to be a lot more flexible from what we've expected, which is good in a game like this when everyone's playing with the same sort of skill level compared to what you experience on like matchmaking ladders.
The best mage placement that we've seen was God Mages, which isn't even Dragon Mages, which isn't even 6 Mages. I think the early game in this meta is so much more important than it was in our qualifiers in both North America and Europe. I think you're incredibly right, Cameron. I think it is a bad read that we've had coming in as the North American and European regions. I think we have neglected the strength of Beast Warrior, and as such, the early game has punished quite a lot.
Well, but as what you just said, though, it's about the early game. You can get, until you hit this top level of competition, you can get away with having a slightly sloppy early game, or a slightly, like, taking a lot of damage by lose streaking in the early game. What we've seen so far with Group A and Group B is that you absolutely need to, like, play for the win, and you have to lose streak as little as possible.
All right, I'm excited to let you guys take it away with the commentary here of Group C, but first we're going to hear from Philip on his mentality coming into the tournament.
Yeah, so in general, I think there's a tier list for me for the first round. So I think that Mag is the best for early games, and that's the goal for me if I get one. So like, for example, the Skybreaker or the Soulbreaker. And also, I think it's called Soul Stealer, the feathered one. Those are strong as well.
The last one standing is the true hooker.
So once again, another player calling out the strength in the early game of the Goblin mechs, but rarely have we seen a player commit to that to the late game, and all, that's just Goblin mechs. It's an early game gold boost.
Yeah, it's a good way to guarantee yourself a good start in the game if you can find Goblin mechs. It's just, they call it the Goblin Gamble for a reason. It is very tough to make it work. You need to get to level 9. Very few times have you seen anybody other than the top 2 make it to level 9 successfully in these current games so far, so it is what it is.
And even then in level 9, the roll percentage for the Devastator is still not that great.
3%?
Yeah, and you need money in order to make those rolls.
Yeah.
And so in order to get level 9 with a good health pool, with the resources to find it in the level of competition like that, it's almost impossible.
Wow, Lucky is lucky when it comes to items because she's picked up 4 wooden clubs, a Ring of Life, and a Magic Crystal.
To be fair, it is no real item combinations just yet. Like if it were 2 Frantic Masks instead of just 4 clubs, maybe. And it's not like what did we see, a round 3
a refresher
orb.
Chuck.
It's not exactly that lucky, but yeah, it's pretty close. But Seiko immediately, I don't want to say committing to the Knights because it's only round 4 right now.
I would say he's pretty solidly committing to what I call a modified open fort strategy. It's
Lucky.
Yeah. Sorry, we're following Lucky. So yeah, Lucky
is open fort.
Yeah, so Lucky, she's committing to what I call a modified open fort strategy. This is where you don't sell to get to 10 gold.
Okay.
But what you do is you go through the motions of a guaranteed loss streak, but you just buy the units that you want instead of just selling everything and buying afterwards. So you delay your 50 gold by 1 or 2 rounds depending on how much you buy. But what it does guarantee you is a good comp coming out of your loss streak.
Yeah, and we'll see if that works. Loss streaks so far have been heavily punished, but this modified version may be a thing to like climb out of that and get rid of that punishment because, as you said, you are still playing on the bench. You're taking damage and you're getting the gold, but you're not sacrificing the potential from the sideboard. And like, use the sideboard. The sideboard is there.
What you need to do when you come out of a loss streak in most circumstances is you need to hit the ground running really hard. And that usually means hyper rolling for the units that you want. If you pick them up as you go, it reduces the variance when you get to the point where you need to start rolling.
Yeah.
And that's what Lucky is doing here. What also open forting does is it does mean that anybody that is trying to loss streak, they run the gamble. If they face you, they lose their loss streaks. That is something that you always need to pay attention to.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of puts people in a really lose-lose situation. It forces people to put 1 unit out so they can at least get the 1 gold for winning against you and lose streaking against everyone else, and just kind of, hoping, trying that they don't hit you too soon. But maybe that's a good thing because, loss streaks may not be as strong as we thought. I was coming into this thinking that, basically telling people that I am hoping to see a little bit of an economy change because loss streaky seems to be an incredibly overpowered thing, but I don't think that my mind has been changed at this point watching these top people play, watching this level of competition.
So Psycho, I can say, is probably pretty heavily committing to the Glacier Knights. He's got the double Hell Knight. And actually, this is the one circumstance where I like Light Blade Knight as a level 1. If you're using it to activate the Knight bonus for your Hell Knight.
Yeah.
Because Hell Knight is good as a 1-star.
It's also a Frantic Mask on the Light Blade Knight, I believe.
If that's the case, which it is,
yep.
That definitely reduces the uselessness of a Light Blade Knight 1. And Psycho was a big Glacier Knight player. I think he played that quite consistently throughout the tournament qualifiers. So, this is a good start for him, and he's at 100% as well. There are 2 players right now sitting at 100%. The other is Irat right now, who's got a lot of 2 stars.
Good
this man
2 stars.
he's got an assassin goblin comp, which is a super strong way to use an assassin comp to transition. And we haven't seen you. I mean, you mentioned it. You'd love to see assassins.
I like assassins.
We have not seen too many assassins as of yet.
Yeah, I mean, I do recognize that they're not as consistently strong once you hit the late game. But I do think if you do get good rolls onto them, they can be strong throughout the mid-game. Transitioning it out of them is kind of, I think, where they're really, really weak. How do you make an assassin comp work in the super late game when you are going up against Dragon Mages, going up against a three-star Taboo Witcher?
There's the only thing that you can do with assassins is realistically get 3 stars, and you get as many 3 stars as possible, and then you stack either your Abyssal Crawler or you stack your Shadow Crawler. That's literally the only way to make it work in the late game. So, you know, you do have to kind of play a strategy that revolves around getting level 9, getting level 8, and then hyper rolling for your 3-star assassins, and you do submit yourself to RNG a bit more. But what assassins are supposed to do is the same thing as Beast Warriors. They are supposed to win so hard in the mid game that by the time anybody's trying to catch up, they knock each other out, basically. That's how you're supposed to play Assassins.
So Lucky is breaking her open fort, but it's basically an open fort. It's only there to mitigate a little bit of the damage.
You're never going to beat anybody playing a single priest, so...
You sure? I don't know. The priest looks kind of scary sometimes. If I saw that thing running at me down a dark alley, I'd be a little scared.
I think I would be as well, but maybe that's because he's literally modeled after a troll.
True. Yeah, I never actually thought about that. We don't have those in real life.
We do not. I mean, I really hope not.
I play this game too much. It's fine. It's okay.
Yeah, same. But this is a very common thing to do when you're open forting if you find a priest. Why would you not take the 20% reduction in damage? And there you go. Like I said, it's...
Yeah, look at this. Like, already has a bunch of knights of her own on the sideboard, 2 Lightblade Knights, a full level 2 Hell Knight, and even throwing out the full 4 Glacial right now, seeming to want to stop that open fort at this point.
I don't agree with doing this right now on round 9. The reason I don't agree with doing this on round 9 is you've now got a level 2 Hell Knight with a full Glacier bonus. If you run into the wrong person and you win, that's your loss streak gone. I do understand...
but isn't that not the point, though?
No, not before the neutral round. Like, you take that loss before the neutral round, because then you guarantee yourself that loss streak bonus on whatever happens on the neutral round. It's free economy. I mean... It's a little bit risky right now. She lost anyway, so it doesn't matter. But it's kind of bad economy etiquette to do that before a neutral round, especially just one round before a neutral round.
Economy etiquette? Your bank account is offended at this.
It's a real thing. Trust me. You just don't want to give away your loss. If you've built a loss streak bonus from the very start of the game, you do not want to give it away before one of the only rounds in the game, which is a neutral round, which guarantees you the free economy.
Yeah.
As you can hear, I was moderately triggered, but she lost.
But she lost anyway.
So it
yes,
doesn't matter.
She must have known that she was going to go up against the high roller of this lobby right now of Seiko, so that must be the reason why. She's just really, really good at this game. She can read who she's going up against next. It's a skill level that no one else has accomplished yet, and she's going to get first seed from this group. Done.
I won't say that what she fielded was particularly strong.
Yeah.
But I personally would have felt a bit nervous about putting out a 2-star Hell Knight. That's all.
Yeah.
I was a bit nervous for her, essentially, is the way that I was looking at it. But her economy is now really good going into round 11. Traditionally, with Open Fort, you usually look to hit 50 gold by round 11. It looks like she's going to hit 50 gold by about round 12. So by delaying her Open Fort economy by 1 round, she's already built a 2-star Hell Knight and has almost built a 2-star Lightblade Knight. Why would you not take that deal?
Yeah, exactly. It's worth it because when you do the full Open Fort and you don't buy anything leading up to it, that is, as you mentioned, more RNG because you have to spend the money to roll it down when otherwise you would just have it right here. Why not? Look, it's 2 more Hell Knights right now. This could be a very early 3-star Hell Knight on the side of Lucky.
Oh, God. I do like that she has removed another unit now, by the way.
Okay.
Again, she's got a priest. She's at, like, a decent amount of HP right now.
Yeah.
She could actually feasibly get to the Wolf round with her economy still on a lose streak, beat the Wolf round, and then start winning.
Yeah.
And she'd be in such a good position with the units that she's got right now. Like, it's such a good position.
Do we know how many people are going Glacial Knights at this point? I think I saw 1 or 2 other people.
Seiko and her right now.
Okay.
The 2.
So just 2.
Nope. 4. Nope, 4.
All right, well, so this is kind of what we expected from the very beginning. We're going to see it on Group C, is when everyone's going to be contesting those knights super early. But the question is, when we see this happen, is anyone going to pull off, or are they all going to commit to it?
Well, Vincent is known for his Glacial Knights.
Okay.
It's kind of his comp.
Okay. Tattooed on his forehead.
Yeah, quite literally. So I don't expect Vincent to pull off this right now. He's also got a lot of units on the bench which would complement this. But the problem is that when you're in this situation as anybody else, you have to react to the player that has got the most of those units. And right now, that is Lucky. She's got the best economy, and she's also got the most of those units. So that puts Vincent in a slightly awkward position, but it also puts Philip in a slightly awkward position because both of them were competing for those same units right now.
You're not high rolling for it like Seiko is. You're not basically open forting. What would you call it?
The modified open fort.
Modified open fort. You're
Yeah.
not doing that to like guarantee some good economy to at least back up the slightly less high rolling of the knights. So yeah, Vincent and or Philip may want to consider pulling off onto that. Lucky did break her loss streak. She's on 1 win streak right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay at this stage of the game once you've already got 50 gold. I personally, if I've got a priest, I like to try and elongate that to the wolf round.
Like 1 or 2 rounds.
But realistically, if you are in the position that you're in for Lucky right now when you're plus 50 gold, the only point of a loss streak is to get to 50 gold. Once you're there, it's up to you how you want to try and approach the situation from that point forward.
Some bounces coming out from the Desperate Doctor. Not going to do enough, and so Lucky going to be losing this round against Stilo. Number of good 2-stars on the side of Stilo, looking to be going for a, I'm just going to assume this is a Warrior Beast comp.
It looks like it right now. I think it's 5 warriors, it's 2 beasts, yeah.
And a random Aggressive Ranger, because why not?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's 2-star. It's basically because it's a 2-star. He's
Yeah.
like, let's just drop the 2-star in there. And he doesn't actually have another warrior. Oh, well, now he
there
does.
it is.
Yeah, there you go. So now he's 6 warrior beast. This is just beast warrior at the end of the day. It's the slightly less powerful version because you don't have a poisonous worm with a magic crystal, so you're not going to be dealing those insane amounts of damage, but this is just a good comp. It's going to get you far. You're fine with it.
Well, the question is, though, is Stilo going to commit onto the Beast Warrior into the late game? Because you've seen people win games off of Beast Warrior. However, he's also saving up those Agursis Rangers, has 5 of them right now. Do you think they're going to transition into a Warrior Hunter comp at some point?
He's not snowballing. So the main thing with Beast Warrior is that you like to snowball because you like to deal as much damage to people as physically possible so that by the time the late game comes around, a few unlucky rounds for your opponents and they're out the game.
All right.
With Hunters, he's actually already got a pretty solid front line. He can transition that front line into Hunters really nicely, and Hunters are much more viable in the late game. So he's probably thinking of that right now, which is why he's keeping those Hunters on the sidelines.
Yeah, has a single sniper as well. Trying to find that elusive sniper upgrade, which has really screwed over some people previously in this round. Another player actually sideboarding a fair number of Hunters is going to be Philip right now.
Yeah.
You said Philip was on...
I thought he was, but...
Might have been a misread, or it could have been a very, very fast transition.
Yeah, I need to double check on the scoreboard to see. Maybe he just had a couple of Knights there. Yeah, I think someone dropped Glacier Knights because we've only got 3 Glacier Knight players in the game right now. So yeah, there's Psycho, there's Vincent, and there's Lucky. That at 3 is like the absolute maximum number of people that can contest the same build. I would never, if I was the 4th and I was sitting on a 1 Lightblade Knight and a 1 Hell Knight, I'd be like, I need some bloody change because there's no way.
I don't know. Even if I was the 3rd and I was sitting, I didn't have, like, I only had maybe 1.5 upgrade. You don't have a half upgrade, but you get my point. Not as many upgrades. I can see that I'm weaker than the other Knight players. Even then, I would consider swapping off.
Lucky has got almost an Orb of Refresh, by the way. Not particularly good in Glacier Knights. It's not the best sort of legendary item that you'd hope for, but you will never say no to
No, put it on.
Fortune Teller, yeah.
Okay, I mean, I was gonna.
You were gonna say Desperate Doctor?
Nope.
What were you gonna say?
It's a new defector.
No.
Penguins everywhere, man. Come on.
Yeah, okay. Do you know what? I think if you're looking for single target lockdown, that's absolutely the case. So
I'm not. I'm just joking.
You're just joking.
I just like penguins.
I also like penguins, but I also like single target lockdown in some scenarios.
I also like winning the game, and that's definitely not the decision that's going to be made in order to win the game necessarily.
The reason I like it on Priest is because it guarantees a 8-second invulnerability for usually your Hell Knight, which is absolutely insane.
That's actually fair. That's a fair point to make. It's tanking, essentially. Even like, looking right now, even on putting it on themselves, like, that's not a tank unit. But you throw any sort of just can't die juice on you, and
I love
that's
can't
a tank.
die juice. Can't die juice is quite literally my favorite. Just for context, it's about the same as a Claw Wand, which is an item which guarantees magic immunity for up to 8 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, that's nice. And it's not even an item to do that. You don't have to wait for RNG. You just pick it up.
Yeah, exactly. You just pick it up.
Upgrade it. Just click. It's right there. Just click it.
Ooh, this is quite good for Lucky because now she's found the Warlock bonus and the Agursis bonus should she want it. She's on the verge of finding a 3-star Hell Knight. As you said, we're looking at a very early 3-star Hell Knight potentially.
Would you, if you found your 7th right now, would you use the egg on round 17?
No, I never, unless you are desperate, I don't think you need to rush using the egg. I think the egg can be saved unless you're in a desperate situation. Because if you imagine if you then roll the next round, you find a Hell Knight, you know, not that you can once you've got a 3-star Hell Knight, but there's always that chance. So unless you're in a desperate situation,
Yeah.
I don't bother.
On the other hand, though, Lucky, even though we were lauding her good sideboarding abilities while doing the modified loss streak, she's still kind of not really winning just yet. She's just middling, going back and forth, not making a streak
She did
either
just
way.
lose to our 100%er.
That's true. It's 100%er. I shouldn't read it too much into that. Fair enough.
He had a 2-star Berserker as well, by the way, which is
Yep.
absolutely ridiculous at this stage. Like, we think a 3-star Hell Knight, but a 2-star Berserker at this stage in the game is also very strong.
That's a fair point there. Seiko, we call them high rollers for a reason. They very, very good. GG Aret not too far behind there on 90 HP, and there's a little bit of drop down to Stilo in 3rd place. And Philip just barely behind for the top 4, but it's only round 18 right now. It can and very likely will change from the current positioning.
So Def, our player from the Latin America qualifiers, he's looking to go for a God Mage build right now. And again, that's something that Chuck made work really nicely in his game. Did have an Orb of Refresh round 3. But he did make that build work nicely for him. But unfortunately, the problem with God Mage and what is being illustrated here is I always call it a coin flip build. Either you're going to get your God of War 3, your Storm Shaman 2, and you're going to just pop off, or you're going to end up in a situation that Durf's in where your comp just sucks. And that's kind of where Durf is right now. I'm a little bit concerned for Vincent as well. He is another Glacier Knight player that is currently not sitting on a good number of Glacier Knights.
Yeah, it's... I mean, Vincent, you said he really likes those Glacial Knights. At what point do you pull off it, though? I think it's too late. Yeah, it is too late at this point. His economy is not bad. Probably gonna wait, trying to hit standard level 8 at round 21. He's gonna go through this final round, go through the creep round, neutral round on round 20, and then maybe roll down from there once you hit 21. This is definitely, I think, a salvageable position.
For sure.
But 7th place is not the most comfortable.
My issue is that you've lost a lot of the Hell Knights at the pool.
Yeah.
So right now, Lucky has got pretty much all of them. Psycho has got a sizable number, and unfortunately, Hell Knight is one of those core carries that you kind of need at 3-star. If you don't find Hell Knight at 3-star, then you're in a tough position.
I think you can make it work if you have, as long as you have another 3-star carry, which is of course going to be Lightblade Knight, but Vincent has 0 on the sideboard. It's just the 3 picked up to make the first 2-star.
Vincent could go for the big boy 3-star Evil Knight.
Could do.
It's something that you don't see very often, but if you're not competing for Hell Knights and no one else is competing for Evil Knights, you could go for the big boy 3-star Evil Knight. He's a beefy boy.
He has 0 Evil Knights right now, though.
He does have 0 Evil Knights. That is an unfortunate situation.
There are a couple of Evil Knights later. Evil Knight is a tier 3 unit. You don't find them as early, but there also aren't as many. But the roll chances for the Evil Knight is, I think, better for Vincent at this point at level 7 than Hell Knight or Lightblade Knight. So that may be an option, but I mean, is a Dragon Knight not enough damage?
Dragon Knight is pretty poor in Glacier Knights unless you're looking to go for 6 Knights at level 9, because it takes him a while to transform.
Yeah.
And he's really bad until he transforms, and by the time that he transforms, he's already in the front line. That's one of the issues with Dragon Knight when you run him in Glacier Knights. He's melee until he transforms.
Yeah.
So he's going to put himself in a really bad position, and then he's going to die when he transforms.
Yeah.
That's one of the major issues when you run Dragon Knight in a Glacier Knight comp.
Yeah, transform a little too late. The reason why Dragon Knight is so powerful in the Dragon Mage build is because not just of the Dragon, but also, well, I was about to say because of also the source, but it doesn't matter because the Dragon buff makes it completely irrelevant.
Instantly transforms.
But just in case the Dragon buff didn't exist, there would also be the source. I'm gonna fall back on that.
I like how you played it off. You did it well.
I did my best. E-Right here, double Tortilla Elder. Oh, okay, now it's just the single, faking us out a little bit.
He's gone for the 6 mages, though. He has them available. He's done something similar that we saw previously where you run the Water Spirit, and he's actually working towards a level 3 Water Spirit, which actually with the Spirit bonus is a pretty solid tank.
It's not the best tank in the game, but look at the damage that was just deployed. Water Spirit does magic damage, and so that leans into the strengths of the 6 mage comp. And as what was I forget which one, it was either you or Joel had said it last group, about the idea of taking a couple of hits and then wave dashing away.
Yeah, Water Spirit, that's the same thing. And then he also distracts the backline if you can make it work. But unfortunately, you just saw there, GG Iret lost to Archdevil, who's got kind of the nuts when it comes to the 6 mage comps. He's got the Dragons working, he's got a 2-star Storm Shaman already, who's pretty beefy. This guy has got the absolute nuts, and he just needs to really finish this off by going for a 2-star Tortola and a 2-star Dragon Knight.
Yeah, I mean, this one's looking a lot better of a mage comp. Looking back onto Lucky right now, got the 3-star Hell Knight very early on, is racking up a few Light Blades, still only 5. So has a little bit to go before that gets level 3-star, but it's only round 22. So I think Lucky is looking in a very, very strong position.
I think Durf's going to get knocked out pretty soon, unfortunately. Looking at Durf's composition right now on Lucky's board, this is not a good God Mage comp right now. He's had a really rough game. He hasn't really found the units that he wanted, and I think he's got 1 or 2 more rounds left in him before he's unfortunately going to get knocked out.
Yeah, 11 damage, down to 6 HP, single digit. You have no room for error at this point. It's not looking good for Durf, and I'm just looking at this comp right now. It's a mishmash. It's a smorgasbord. It's a jambalaya of synergies. Like, look at that on the bottom. How many of that is that? It's a fruit salad.
Yeah, he has just found Storm Shaman 2 and Soul Reaper 2. Those will at least give him a fighting chance in this game. I will say it that way. I don't think they're going to change the course of the game for him, but they will give him a fighting chance. He needed those to get going in this God Mage comp.
Now up against Lucky, and we know how strong Glacial Knights get in the late game, which we were just on the process of hitting. AoE coming out from the Storm. A Lightning Storm Mage. Either way, and the Storm Shaman does come out, but it doesn't look to be enough. The damage is getting a little bit low, but Durf, I think this is going to be it.
No, he'll survive, but it's so close. I know, it's so ridiculous. He's got 4 Frantic Masks, and he can't even use, 4 Vampiric Masks, and he can't use any of them, realistically anyway. The one thing that I'm questioning is the positioning of his Storm Shaman right now. That is the most crucial unit in this composition.
Yeah.
He should be frontlining that. That needs to be on the front line to make sure it generates its mana more quickly, because he doesn't have any magic crystals on it.
I mean, it's only a level 1 source as well, and with a 2-star Storm Shaman, that's like, there's enough HP on that. Like, people routinely put that on the front line. It's not the same. It's not a tank in the sense that a God of War is, but it's beefy enough to get that initial ult cast off, and that's what you need from it.
I don't think he wins versus Psycho, who's got a 3-star Lightblade.
Not the one you want to, not the player you want to roll up against when you're at 1 HP. I'll tell you that much. The damage actually isn't that bad.
No,
this is looking pretty good. But the level 3 Lightblade Knight, we've seen this character 1v5, I think, previously. So it's a nice, noble college try. But Durf is going to go out in 8th place.
Yeah, unfortunately, Durf not able to make it work. And Vincent, unfortunately, is feeling the pinch of dealing with 2 other high-rolling Glacier Knight players. He's dealing with someone who's already got a level 3 Hell Knight, and now he's seen that Psycho has already got a level 3 Lightblade Knight. Vincent has had the pool of his Knights stranglehold it out away from him, and I think he is going to have to be incredibly lucky to even get one of those units to 3-star right now, and unfortunately, he's just in a poor position.
I don't think it's going to happen at all. You would have to roll his socks off in order to get that, because he has only the 3 for the initial 2-star for both of those units. Not a single one on the sideboard to even try and start developing that 3-star for them. I mean, there's got to be a solution, though. You don't have. I mean, is it really only Hell Knight and Lightblade Knight, like, the only options for a Glacial Knight comp to be anything above 7th?
Yes. No, well, not 7th, but what I'm saying is that if you want to compete with what's currently in the lobby, then yes.
Well, there's no. So at this point, I think even a couple of rounds ago, Vincent must have understood that there is a very low chance of him winning this game. But there's got to be an option that he can lean into to try and climb out of 7th and hopefully at least get top 4.
Okay, the option that he's got, I think, is go level 9, put Storm Shaman in. That's the only option. I don't, and that's what he's done. Yeah, that's what he's done.
He found the level 3, didn't have to use the egg for it either. It's a full, 100% full breed Storm Shaman.
Yes, so he's got the Storm Shaman right now, and he's got the egg on the sidelines ready and waiting. This is the only thing that gives him an edge versus the mage competition in the lobby right now. That's my. Oh my word! Lucky has got a 3-star Lightblade and a 3-star Hell Knight.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say it's because of the modified loot streaking, but the modified loot streaking definitely helps. And you can see how we came into this group criticizing Lost Streak because of the damage that you take, but Lucky has been utilizing it very, very well, mitigating a little bit of the downsides that come with lose streaking.
Yeah, and like I said, it's one of those things that allows you to hit the ground running. You delay your 50 gold by 1 round. But you saw she had...
But you have the units to put in once you start winning.
Exactly. She had a 2-star Hell Knight. She had the Glacier. She had the Lightblade Knight. That is the benefit of picking up units when you're trying to open fort. You guarantee your economy income, but you get yourself the units to play once you get there, and that's allowed Lucky to sort of springboard herself into a really strong position in this game. I think Vincent lost by a very small margin. I do think he made the right decision to go to level 9 and put the Storm Shaman in. It was the only out he had to beat people like mages in this lobby.
The thing is, he lost to Philip, who he's fighting against right now to not go out in 7th place, so I don't know exactly what that means. Lucky, though, still performing very, very well. Philip doing well as well, but level 3s are the ones standing on the side of Stilo. God of War takes a long time to get taken out, and almost able to use the shield bash on those units, but now it's just the Aggressive Ranger. That's not just barely not going to be enough. Philip's going to stay alive for a little bit longer, and Vincent drops down once again to 7th place. 17 HP left, and that is a 3-star Water Spirit.
Yeah, he's not even got a... Vincent's not even beating the mages, which is what the Shaman and sort of Defector bonus is supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be better against mages, and he's unfortunately not being able to do that. Next round, if I were Vincent and I do not find another Evil Knight, I am using that egg on my Evil Knight. It's the only thing I can do to keep myself in this game. It's a rough spot for Vincent. Let's have a look at Psycho, though. He is 3-star Hell Knight. He is 3-star Lightblade Knight. You've got 2 high-rolling Glacier Knight players right here.
2-star Berserker, 100% HP still. Been win streaking this entire game.
I had my eyes on Seiko coming from the European qualifiers. He's a very, very good player. He's very well versed at Glacier Knights, a little bit like Vincent. Philip survives with 2% HP, by the way. Vincent will be desperately trying to claw any places that he can from this situation. But Philip, he's in a rough spot too.
Yeah, I mean, Philip down to 2 HP, Vincent down to 7. Archdevil, I mean, it doesn't look like a lot when you're looking at the green on the health bars, but it's a pretty sizable jump. It's going to be very, very difficult for either Vincent or Philip to claw themselves out of this bottom 3 position.
This is a wild set of positioning coming out from...
Yeah, what's going on here?
So, you do this with hunters often. You line them. It means they generally tend to attack the same target. I often, even with things like warriors, like to box myself in a little bit more. He's just tried to put the warriors in the front line so they engage in a linear pattern. But yeah, he gets wiped out here, unfortunately.
I mean, just the tanking ability, the tanking into an assassin sort of role from that Water Spirit, really making a lot, doing work onto Philip's team comp there. I believe that's Archdevil doing that. And Vincent right now going to be taking a lot of damage as well. I don't think he's going to be surviving. I think he's going to go out in 6th place, just barely ahead of Philip. So he's able to get, I believe that is 2 points off of that. Looking at Archdevil right now, though, that's
an insane. That's a 2-star. So he's given himself an out versus the Knights with the 2-star
yeah, he has.
Dark Spirit. He's also got a 3-star Shining Dragon. Now, Shining Dragon, 3-star, one of the most underappreciated mages in the game.
I mean, anything 3-star I think is very powerful, but yeah, I do agree with you. I think Shining Dragon routinely is, it's not the same thing as Winter Chiroptin, Chiroptin, Pterodactyl, but the Dragon Knight is always the dragon that everyone is like, this is the damage, the other ones are just there to get that synergy bonus, the dragon synergy off, but that's a lot of items that Archdevil able to pick up.
Yeah, he picked up himself a Ring of Life and a Rune Hammer. I wonder if he can turn that Rune Hammer into anything. Maybe not. Ooh, Psycho's got an Axe of Fury. That's gonna, if that's on his Hell Knight, if that is on his Hell Knight,
bam.
Oh, it's on his Hell
Game
Knight.
over. Pack it up, go home.
Oh my goodness, that is an insane item for a Hell Knight.
We are done here, folks. Yeah, I don't think Seiko's going below 100 HP at this point. This is such a strong positioning for him.
Just for context of the viewers at home that don't know what this item does, it gives you splash pure damage, which means that you're going to be able to, pure damage, which basically means you're going to be able to deal a huge amount of damage in an area to anyone that you're attacking, and that is just insane.
Yeah, and there are a lot of positioning comps that really group your people up, and with the 3-star Hell Knight who just stays alive so late into the game, it's just going to be a lot of splash damage. I say that, Hell Knight actually went down, but luckily there's a 3-star backup of Lightblade Knight to do the rest of the job against Stilo, and good amount of damage.
Do you know the biggest counter to Hell Knight? A God of War that is facing directly into it.
Fair enough, fair point.
You need to, when you face gods as Glacier Knights or Knights in general, you need to try and get your Hell Knight to position in a way that it either attacks God of War from the side or completely circumvents that unit, because otherwise one of your main damage carries gets locked up attacking this really annoying unit and it can't do anything about it.
I mean, at what point though, like, can you just, do you even need Hell Knight to tank? Can you just throw Hell Knight off onto the side and hope that he tracks around?
Yeah, that's what I do usually.
Or put a dagger on them. A little blink to the back line.
Watch the damage of Shining Dragon in this round, by the way. It'll be higher than you think.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely, it's at the top, but okay, everyone's turned to stone. It's going to be a little difficult to come back from that. Archdevil, I don't know. It's a level 3 Gersis Ranger. I don't think it's going to be enough. Good damage on the Shining Dragon, as you say, but Archdevil, a lot of damage onto his body, down to, 7 HP, tied with Lucky.
So he was facing up against GG Ira, who's actually managed to get a really strong Hunter composition on... no, it wasn't. Who's the guy with the Hunter composition? Is it Archdevil?
No, I don't think we're seeing Hunters now. I think Hunters got deleted.
Where are the Hunters? Where is the Gersis Ranger coming from?
I think it was Stilo. Who got...
Oh, Stilo just got knocked out.
Who just got eliminated.
That makes a load of sense now. Yeah, I was a little bit confused. Okay, so now the Hunters are gone, but that was actually a pretty strong Hunter comp that he were working with. Unfortunately, he gets knocked out here. Let's have a look at Lucky. Lucky running with a double Tsunami Stalker at level 10 right now.
I mean, you already pointed out earlier the weaknesses of a level 1 Tsunami Stalker, and I agree 100%, and that's a lot of damage, a lot of AoE coming out from the side of Archdevil. It might be enough to take out Lucky, and actually, especially turning the Hell Knight to stone even for a couple of seconds should be more than enough, and Lucky may be out of this in 4th place. Not what I expected off of the very, very strong transition out of the loss streak, but it's not going to be enough because the other 3 players have developed such strong team comps.
You mentioned it right at the start, though. She placed 2 Tsunami Stalkers right in the middle of her comp, and both of them died without casting their ultimate.
Exactly.
That is the weakness. Also, the strength of the Dragon Mage comp is it generally tends to run a lot of humans, and Dragon Knight instantly transforms and does a lot of silence. It has a lot of silence potential on those units. But you saw, this is why I hate 1-star Tsunami Stalkers in general, unless you're protecting them. They just die most of the time really quickly.
Yeah. I mean, even a tier 4 at 1 star is not going to do a lot for you. The health pool is still way too low. A lot of AoE coming in from both sides. And now it's the time of Seiko to return fire.
And Archdevil gets knocked out.
Archdevil going out in 3rd place. We're now 1v1. And Seiko, I was wrong. He lost some HP. He's at 94.
Oh, boys. Rest in peace, Stone Spirit. This would have... If Stone Spirit existed... This would have given GG Ira a solid chance versus Seiko, who, by the way, has only just lost his perfect game, but he's at 94%.
But he lost to GG Ira.
Yes,
so, you know, maybe... Hey, all I'm saying, the previous group that I was a part of the commentary team for, the very first game, there was a player who was high roll in the beginning and almost got taken out by someone around like 20 HP into the late game. So GG Ira, I don't know. Let's see if we can't come back and get this one, but it is a high mountain to climb against Seiko's 94 HP.
GG Ira has got a refresher orb on 2 different units, and he's looking to build a second Tortola Elder to sell, and then get that refresher orb onto a single unit. I reckon he can sell his Tortola Elder, remove there we go, and then give the refresher orb over to his Storm Shaman. That is a big boy play. That is a big move right there. This might give him a small edge. I just love the way that Psycho's responded, though. He's now split his entire comp up and just looking to sort of position as best he can.
And look, it's actually a 2-star Tsunami Stalker on the side. So that's definitely a Tsunami Stalker that's going to do a lot of work. We need to see exactly what it can do once the fight breaks out this time around on both sides. There's too much action to watch. I don't know where my eyes want to go, but oh my god! In the matter of seconds, GG Ira's board gets deleted. Both boards. It's going to be the 3-star Knight carries remaining for the side of Seiko. And GG Ira dropped down to 20 HP. It's going to be a slow path, but it's gonna happen eventually. GG Ira needs to find some way to break through Seiko's super strong Knight Glacial synergy.
And it's going to be even harder now because Seiko's added the Marine bonus
Yep.
at level 10 to his composition. He's actually sacrificed the Shaman and the Storm Shaman bonus, which, interestingly enough, I think without any mana generation items on the Storm Shaman may be a good play. But overall, he's sacrificed his that for the Marine bonus for consistent magic resist.
Interesting positioning change by GG Ired. He's pulling people away from the Tortella, hoping that no one targets him down, keeping away from the AoE damage from Seiko, but that's actually the opposite of what happened. Got taken out immediately, and GG Ired's going to take a lot of damage because of that.
I think he screwed up, actually.
Was it on purpose?
I think he was trying to move the Tortola Elder over to re-corner his entire composition, and he just didn't move the Tortola Elder at the moment. Because there's no way you leave your Tortola Elder like by itself. It's such a weak unit to allow to be open like that. But, I mean, if he leaves it that way, then maybe you're right. But I think he intended to move it over to the corner. I think he was just looking to change corners over.
I mean, I think you are right. If that was intentional, that's the only thing I think of. But no, he's put in the corner. Either that was an initial plan, or he definitely learned his lesson, because that was not a good round for the old man.
Let's see what happens now, as we have got potentially the last few rounds right now for GGI. I think he's just dead.
Yeah, that's a lot of remaining units on the side of Seiko. The ultimate blast from that Tortilla was not enough. Didn't hit enough units, I don't think. That's going to be Seiko, the German himself, winning round 1.
I had pinned hopes for him. I had pinned hopes for our European qualifier.
You got a little bit of redemption here for
Yes.
the Europe squad?
A little bit of redemption. Seiko coming straight out of Germany, ready to do Europe proud, because we needed him.
Well played, and honestly, nearly perfection from him.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
really
close
didn't.
enough.
It wasn't too big of an issue for him to get first place there.
I think, again, it's one of those situations where he had a really good Glacier Knight start. Do you remember when you asked me the question in our previous quarterfinal? I was like, what do you love to see, like, coming out into round 4? And I said, if I see one Hell Knight and one Lightblade Knight at round 3, I'm like, Glacial Knight all the way, baby. That's basically what Seiko got.
Yeah.
So he was just off from the start.
I want to talk about Lucky, too, because she, the only female player here of our group of 32 players, getting 4th, pretty solid. But I want to ask about, she's going to the same composition as Seiko. So how does that kind of work out for her, on the inverse side of it, where, you have someone who has so much success going for the Glacier Knight in Seiko. Could Lucky have played that a little better to try to sneak into the top 3, or did she kind of do what she could?
She had a 3-star Hell Knight. She was basically there with her comp. She didn't do anything wrong. She was just a little bit behind in economy because she was playing catch up to Seiko consistently.
Yeah.
And one thing that you always need to remind yourself when you're playing Knights, it is RNG about how you generate your shields. Every 2 seconds, you have a percentage chance to generate a shield on a Knight unit. Sometimes you just ain't gonna generate those shields, and that is something you can't beat yourself up about. You're gonna beat a mage player like cutting a knife through with hot knife through butter, and sometimes that mage player is gonna wipe you out because you just didn't get the right shields at the right time. That is just how Knights play.
Especially when you don't have the Marine bonus as a fallback when you're going up against mage players. We saw Seiko bring that into play at the late game just in case. But without that happening, when you don't have the shields come up, you're going to be taking heavy damage from the magic damage. Here are the match results.
Of course, as we can see, Lucky there in 4th place, not bad at all. Seiko at the top in the #1 spot. We've seen players, though, get #1, but not make it through to the next round.
This is true.
So nothing to really invest yourself in just yet. Durf at the bottom, followed by Philip, Vincent, Stilo, so on and so forth. I think I pretty much covered. Any other surprises there in the compositions? Anything else that kind of was glaring at you there as we look through the point standings?
I'm a little disappointed that this so far. I mean, it's only been one game, but this group so far seems to be the group that we kind of expected all groups to look like, with like heavy Dragon Mage, heavy on the Glacial Knights. I'm hoping like the other 2 groups were a little more fun.
Yeah. This was a more traditional group.
Yeah.
We had
To start, at least.
Yeah.
To start.
The top 4 was 2 mage players and 2 Glacial Knight players. So that was a bit more traditional in terms of what we expected coming into the meta. And it's really interesting to see that this is the first game that I've seen in this tournament where it has not been a bit more wild, a bit more Beast Warrior orientated, with more aggression in the early game. That was what that game is what I expected coming into this tournament.
Yeah.
And it just
And
seems
we haven't seen as much of it up to this point. But and who knows if we'll see it going forward, but we're going to find out. I'm excited to get into the next game here. Again, 2 more games to go in this round. We're trying to find out who are going to be the top 4 from this group who will advance to tomorrow, our semifinals. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with that game number 2 in this Group C. So stay tuned. You're watching the 2019 Auto Chess Invitational, $1 million on the line this weekend. You don't want to miss a second.